everyone. Welcome back again to another exciting episode of the Iconist Podcast.
Another one.
Three.
Another
Right?
one.
Another one. Another one. Oh my gosh. Another one. I can't believe it. We're still going week after week. We're dropping episodes all the time, nonstop. We're in year 3. We're very happy about that. Thank you, everyone that's joined recently and supported us. So we'll get down to the brass tacks of it. Here it comes down. My name is Barry 3D. Hey, it never gets old after 3 years. If you want to find anything that I'm doing, because besides this show, I do a lot of stand-up comedy, solo and with groups. Everything is listed on barry3d.com. Please go and check out the website. Keep it marked and notifications on. I always update there, including when this show drops. What you should know is weekly. Every Tuesday on YouTube, and every Wednesday the audio goes out wherever you listen to your podcast or stream them from. Right-ho. On that note, always on my side, the man, the myth, the legend, my cousin, the man who will have you dancing day and night. Right on. I'm not a singer. I'm just a dancer. But the one and only, Mr.
DJ Rod C. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We got something for you. As I always say, the icon for today. I ain't saying it. No, I'm not going to. Not today. At least not right now.
No, not right now.
Barry, let's do our normal. Let's do our normal.
All right, we can do the normal. Yeah. I think people are more happy to hear your voice this week because last week I went hard on the microphone.
No, you went happy mode. Yes, happy.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about that in half a second too. So we're going to do a round table. So first of all, you got to support the books, and these are the books that we like to read, and that's what keeps the show going, and of course keeps the imagination going. So if you're looking for comic books, head out to Wow Comics out in Kitchener. Tell Wes, Ramon, Chris, and Sydney that you heard about them here on the Iconist Podcast, and we said hi. They'll treat you right. Now, for our friends out in Montreal, please go and check out Check Swings and tell Trevor, Dom, Pierre, and Pierre that we said hi. You heard about them on the Iconist Podcast. They'll hook you up. If you don't know what book to get, if you're jumping into books for the first time, these are the guys to talk to. They will tell you the great ones to read and get you on your journey, and welcome. On that, our friend Miss Brandy Ford, she has her radio station, and she puts it out there 3 times a week. So you can find her on 4680q.com. She's on there Mondays, Wednesdays at noon, and on Saturdays, Mondays, Wednesdays, yes, at noon, and at 2 o'clock. My apologies, 2 o'clock, and Saturdays she does noon. She's got also some milestones coming up, and finally she will be releasing The Writer and the Wit. So it's been there, it's been a work in progress. It got a little bit delayed. I saw her just recently. It's coming out for October, so please check the links down below and support her book.
Nice.
As I mentioned before, I also do comedy, and when I do comedy, I'm always with either myself or I'm with my comedy brothers, and that is Zulf Ali or Dave Sokolowski, and the 3 of us form a touch of gray matter. We have a show coming up at Levity on October 6th and 7th. If you're free, come on down. This is out in Hamilton, Ontario. It's going to be a hoot and a holler because me and the boys have not done something in a while, and we are about to go ham. Now, last but not least, the man that makes us look so pretty. The one that helps us too. So if you want to do your own podcast, you're not even sure how to go about it, here's the steps you need to do. First, you got to find a streaming service. I know everyone goes on YouTube, and that's where we put our videos. But if you want to do the audio and you want it done at a good price and have a catalog built up, we use Podbean. So if you go to iconist.podbean.com, you will find all our episodes there. And that is an easy thing for you to use, and it's great to migrate, and it's really cost effective. So that is a way to go about it. Great metrics. But of course, you're going to need some artwork. You're going to need a logo. You might need some templates. You might need whatever graphic designs for your podcast show, wherever the topic may be. And it's only one man and one man alone you should reach out to. And that man is
Jaybird Digital Arts.
Jason Reese, Jaybird Digital Arts. You see the link, you see his pictures, you see him at the end. Please reach out to him. And if you mention that you heard about him here on the Iconist Podcast, he will give you a discount.
Nice. Nice.
Everything is going up, but sometimes things go down. Discount. Right
Nice.
on. Thank you, Jay. Jay's always commenting on all our videos. Jay, much love. He loves Rod. When you hit him with the eagles, he loves that. Keep it going.
Yeah. Woohoo!
That's a boy. Now, before we jump into today's topic, I got to do a couple of quick shout outs. So one, and I don't have their usernames in front of me, but they'll know who they are when they hear them. So we dropped our episode on Micronauts last week. Okay. And I heard from a couple of people. So I heard from this one guy. His name's Rob. He's got his Retro Rob. He's got his own YouTube channel. And me and him have been chatting for the past couple of days because he was happy to find other fans of Micronauts. He does his own 3D printing of the Micronauts. Yeah. Really nice. You know, so he does that. And we were talking about it. We were talking the similarities between Micronauts and Star Wars. And it was a whole breakdown. Who owns the rights? How can it be? It was really so. Rob, thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you for the thoughts and the information of showing how this all comes together. So this is awesome. There's even some stuff I don't know. And that's cool. This is what the world's about. Always learning, moving forward, never be stagnant. And then there was another person that reached out to me, Nonin. I'm just going off memory. We all know I'm bad with names. That's his YouTube name. He reached out to me and was chatting about one of our other episodes. So that's it. He was chatting about which are one of our most popular ones is Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. Right. He's a listener from Germany, and this is one of his favorite movies.
Nice.
He's a black man in Germany. What? We salute you, sir. We salute you. Thank you. Nice. Thank you. So it's always fun when we hear people chat and send us comments. As you can clearly tell, we do reply all those in real time when we see them. So as I said, keep it coming. We appreciate it. And as I keep asking for the past couple of weeks, we haven't gotten none yet, but we're still waiting for someone to tag us or send us a picture of your favorite comic book store. No matter where it is in the world, we want to see it. Be it from the outside, inside, we want to see it. I want to see comic book stores in Japan and comic book stores from Germany and comic book stores from the States, from the UK and Scotland and Paris, in Egypt, because it's worldwide. Want to see it, buddy. Want to see it.
Just saying. All right.
Which brings us now to this episode. And on this episode of the Iconic Podcast, the Icon is with it, Rod.
Jack Ryan.
I'd like to say you don't know Jack. Right now, I know a lot of times
I'll say that. Okay, who's Jack? I don't know
Jack
who Jack
Ryan,
is.
man. And this is surprisingly, right? Because a lot of people know Jack Ryan, and they're gonna first thing you're gonna think of is either you thought of when I mentioned this, either the Amazon series, or you thought of a movie. Did you know he's a legacy character? Like what I mean by legacy character, you know, he's a Jason Bourne, he's a James Bond, he's a long character. But more in time with James Bond in a sense that multiple people have played this character over the years. Now, I don't know if it's bad marketing,
right,
to not put the spotlight on this. If something was done as a test and it got more popular, and so everything we've seen on Jack Ryan, there's a lot out there, but it's out of order. So first of all, Tom Clancy was the one that created Jack Ryan way back in the day, and there's 30 Jack Ryan novels. But we've only seen 5 movies and an Amazon series. Yeah.
Let's break it down.
Let's go break it down. Now, hold on. I got to open up my stats here because I forgot. Usually I have this, but there was so much that I don't even have I don't even know the first appearance of Jack Ryan. I mean, in the books, in the movie, you can figure out. Right? Because the movie, and I'll get into this, but do you know when he came out there in the books? His first appearance in the books?
You know what? I did see that. I just scrolled by because I didn't realize you're going to go to that part. So the first,
I hit Rod with a curveball.
it was a curveball, but it's all right. It's all right. Long live the revolution. Okay, so the books, first one was in 1984, and it was The Hunt for Red October.
So that's the first
The
book.
Hunt for That's his first book, the first novel.
Yes. Right. So Tom Clancy has been, and hold that thought for half a second, Rod.
Okay.
So Tom Clancy is the writer. He's the creator of that. Now, our fans or people maybe listening probably heard the name Tom Clancy. A lot of people know Tom Clancy because his name's been associated with a lot of stuff. So Tom Clancy Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy Splinter Cell. These are all video games that have come out, and there's more. There's Delta and Warzone. There's a lot more out there. So Tom Clancy is a writer who's been writing these books, political, new age kind of. I'm not saying futuristic. I'm just saying, books dealing with politics and warfare. He was, I think, in the Navy himself. I'll go back to my notes and check that.
He was. Yes, he was.
Okay, perfect. So he made this whole universe. So if you're playing the video games, you'll realize that Rainbow Six and Splinter Cell. So if you're, those characters crisscross because they're in the same universe. I love world building. So Tom Clancy had multiple books over the years. Over 30 years, he had his novels on the bestseller list, New York Times bestseller list. So his first novel was Hunt for Red October with Jack Ryan, right? And that's the name of the movie, The Hunt for Red October. The thing with Jack, and this is what I'm saying now, and this is what I'm saying, hold on. The Hunt for Red October, the movie, So the novel came out in 1984, and then Alec Baldwin traded this character in 1990 because he had the deal. This is what I think is amazing. So here's the thing: people are like, "What are you talking about, Barry?" Well, as I said, these things were not put in order, so I'm not sure if they were written that way. And then he backtracked to do the history. I never read the novels, so if anyone read the novels and you have that, let me know. I'm just going by the shows and the movies. So I'll give you the rundown list because I was talking to a friend of mine who loves movies, and she didn't realize. And some of my coworkers I work with during the day, and they're like, "What do you mean Jack Ryan's been around for years, Barry?" It's like 1990. Here we are in 2023. Legacy character. I'll break this down real quick and we'll double back to it. So Tom Clancy wrote all these books, got a deal, put it out there. He did a deal for the video games and the storylines. He put it out there. So our first appearance with this Hunt for Red October, Jack Ryan was portrayed by the actor Alec Baldwin. I think his performance got overshadowed a little bit by Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone thinks Hunt for Red October, Submarine, Sean Connery, and then, Alec Baldwin was in it. He's in it more than you remember if you go back to watch it. But that was our first door opening to Jack Ryan, the Ryanverse, as they call it. So that's one.
Nice.
Then, in 1992, he was portrayed by Harrison Ford in, which was it?
The Patriot Games.
Patriot Games. Then Harrison Ford came back 2 years later in 1994 and portrayed Jack Ryan again in Clear and Present Danger. All right, we ain't done yet. Then, in 2002, like 21 years ago, Ben Affleck portrayed him in The Sum of All Fears. In 2014, I was going to say, in 2014, he was portrayed by Chris Pine in Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit.
Right.
And then we go to 2018 up to 2023. He's portrayed by John Krasinski in Jack Ryan, the Amazon Prime series. Now, there's 30 books of this character. That means there's a lot more meat on the bone. Throw it back in the pot. Add some water, put some pepper, some spice, some seasoning in there, make some stew, make a good soup. So, Rod, just to go back here, I was looking at this, and this is what brought in my mind is that people didn't realize this character's been around so long. Did you realize before we got into this episode, that this character, like Jack Ryan character, was around as long as he was?
You know what? I did, and I fully agree. For the Hunt of Red October, he was overshadowed by Sean Connery. Because you're right. When you say that movie, you think more Sean before you think of Alex. Um, but I started to realize it when they did when Harrison did his second one, because that's around the same time I would have watched it and
Mhm.
realizing like, oh, aren't you the same Jack from Red October? And that's when I started to realizing, oh, in my sense, I honestly believe I would thought along the line, it's doing the James Bond thing. Because around that time, no one else was really doing any sequential type of character, different actors, but it's the James Bond type of theme that, oh, we're just gonna carry a book with this character and we're gonna just keep pushing him out every 3 years, just keep pushing him out. So yes, I did know, but after a while, you just realizing, okay, there's no more Jack. And then we got Jack again. But realizing, yeah, he's a legacy one. In the way you're saying it, it makes sense. So it's a legacy character.
Yeah. And I'm saying, I'm not saying that, all the movies did differently at the box office. Overly, if you put them all together, they
Hmm.
did over like $787 million, like worldwide, if you the whole, all of them together. So they all made money. Some made more than others. I'm not here to dispute which one is better than which. I'm just saying that I think what hurt it is one, they never advertised it properly as Jack Ryan. It was only later on you got, because I mean, come on, we got, as I said, we got Hunt for Red October. It wasn't Jack Ryan Hunt for Red October. It was just Hunt for Red October.
Hmm.
It was Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, and it was only Some of All Fears, and then it was by the way, Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit.
Hmm.
And because the movies weren't done in chronological order, he was portrayed by different actors because in those stories Jack was different ages. We heard
Correct.
things that would relate to it, so we kind of worked to his origin, and then we bounced back forward again. So from what I personally pieced together, and if someone has a better idea, let me know. I'm good. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna try to put it this way. So Jack Ryan starts off, he's in the army, and there's reasons why he goes in the army first, and he does what he does. But if we have to go movie wise, I would say the very first movie or series, if we have to put him in chronological order, from what we have right now, I would go Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, because we see him in the military, we see him in the accident, we see him survive that helicopter plane crash and then go for rehabilitation. So we see it. Because we see it, I think that is first. So the one with Chris Pine should be, if you want to watch him somewhat in chronological order, should be that movie, right? Then
Right.
we take a step back and we go, all right, we watch Jack Ryan, the Amazon Prime series with John Krasinski, because it's still near the beginning of his career, but just after. Now, I know there's some reboots in these stories, but it's just after his accident. So he has his job still, and his accident and his rehabilitation, you never see it. He just talks about it. You see the scars on his back from the injury and other things. So I think it's still the beginning, but right
Hmm.
after, so it's Shadow Recruit, then it's the Amazon Prime series. Then we get into, in my opinion, I would go Ben Affleck, Some of All Fears,
Okay.
right? Then we jump over to Alec Baldwin, The Hunt for Red October, and then we finish it off with Harrison Ford. Now, Harrison Ford's the only person that's played this character twice. Everyone else only played him once. So we go into the
Right.
Harrison Ford movies of Patriot Games, of course, then followed by Clear and Present Danger at this point in his career. So he's gone from, this shows me in this series and the movies before he joins the CIA, him in the CIA, him retired from the CIA,
Hmm.
and his political aspirations coming out even more so. So he starts to go for like governor or senator to work towards vice president. And then in the books, he becomes president.
Right.
Hot dog. Yeah. I know you're laughing because I said hot dog.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. barbecue's going. I smell it in the background.
Hilarious.
I'm a simple creature. So this is where I think it should be. I like what I saw from all of these movies, and some more than others. And and he goes through, holy crap, like everything he goes through. I mean, if I have to break it down, he starts off, he's a lieutenant, then he's a United States Marine Corps second lieutenant. He's an accountant and a stockbroker. He's a certified public accountant, U.S. Naval Academy. He's a CIA analyst, a professor. So, he takes all these things. So he joins the army. He loves the history. He loves economics. He followed that in school. Joins the CIA, but he's not in there as a James Bond character. He just sees certain things, but because military training, he can get into that kind of action role. He knows how to carry a gun, clearly, and deal with those at a high level. And then, of course, he just rises and rises and rises. Central Intelligence Agency, so he joins the CIA. And then he becomes the deputy director of the CIA. This is amazing. Then he gets a part of National Security Advisor. And then he works his way up to vice president and then the president. As I said before, hot dog. This man would get my vote.
Nice.
And I think it was a nice blend of a political drama and action. It reminded me of another movie. Was it No Way Out with Kevin Costner?
Right.
No Way Out. This is that's a classic movie where you find out he's a double agent, but not to get off topic, and he surprises you. It's still a good movie to watch. I think it's still stands test of time. So we got these movies turn around. And that's what I mean by his legacy character. And a lot of people don't realize this character has been around for years, and he's played multiple movies, been played by multiple people. What do I want to see next? Now, I know Tom Clancy has passed away. He passed away at a very young age, like 66. He had a heart attack, and then, as his friends say, that he's had so much life, he burnt out 2 hearts and not just one in his lifetime. He made a lot of money, left that bulk of it to his second wife, and then the rest of it went to his 5 kids. His kids are grown, so everyone's doing okay. And there's still authors that are writing with the permission of the Clancy estate to carry on stories. But we don't need to go so far, in my eyes, as to get a new writer. We just have to look at the existing material and say, here we go. We got 30 books. We got a couple of seasons on Amazon Prime and 5 movies. Okay, right. There's a lot more in there that I would like to see come back and then portrayed. And I think that they got to put some kind of timeline to it. That's the main thing. First and foremost, they need to put a timeline to this story so people realize, one, these movies are out there. They are tied together, and how they should watch them, in my opinion, or in the series, if they want to get the full scope of it. And not make him too much like a James Bond character. Some movies kind of made him more like a Jason Bourne. Like Chris Pine came across more like a Jason Bourne part with Shadow Recruit. It started off cool and it kind of, with the gadgets and so forth like that. And he's not a gadget person. He's just an intelligent person. And the series did it really well by taking their time to flesh out his relationship, the characters' relationships with each other. And you see them grow, that network. And all those characters are still around. If you look at the Amazon Prime series and even the movies, his girlfriend, wife, nurse, she's always been there, right? The character that he works with all the time has been played by different actors. Like there's a black character he works with all the time, and he's been portrayed by different actors, from Morgan Freeman to and I can't remember his name, but the other actor from that he was on The Wire. They're always there to a certain degree. James Earl Jones played this character when it was Harrison Ford.
Yep.
So the characters are not one-dimensional. We need more. I want more legacy characters. Right now, Hollywood, I know there's a strike, and we respect that with the writer's strike, the actor strike. But when things get going again, I think they should turn around. Everyone's always looking for the next character. You don't have to make the next new thing. You just have to find the next smart thing. They're always doing reboots. Stop with the reboots let's continue. Let's continue. And maybe put some of those stories out there to people. All right, that's my 2 cents on all that. What are you saying, man?
Well, listen, you know what? It's a good thought process to bring him out because he's how do I say? He basically is like a mystery solver. He's an intelligent person who basically solves the situation, the issues with his mind. Like you said, Chris Pine portion could have been more. It was more hands-on type of scenario. But for you to be the director of the CIA, to make your way up, all that kind of thing, that's more of a mental. You're more of a mental assassin type of scenario. You're using your brain to achieve the goal and get do what you have to do. So I personally like those type of shows. I like those type of TV shows and movies when it's very more intellectual, and you're just getting I didn't see that clue. You saw something and you put two and two, heard a word from something before and pieced it together with this. I think this is what they're trying to make. I didn't see the connection. I did. So that's what I like. So definitely we could use more, entertainment in that particular realm. And like you said, there's other books as well. Now the scenario will be, if you do it, my suggestion would be is to find the books that may be in between these ones. Like I'm seeing a list of certain books and movies that's in between. Like there's Red Rabbit. Red Rabbit is one. Cardinal of the Kremlin is another one. Depth of Honor. So these are different. These are other novels that haven't been released yet, hasn't been made yet. And these are in between. So now we can still do the same chronological layout of having different actors. You can say, well, I'm going to use this actor. You're at this around this age. You know what? You should be doing this book and proceed. And then have the great future plan, the long game plan of having these one where people then can just go back and you're not interrupting the flow of trying to do a reboot. You're basically leaving the movies as they were in their particular time with those particular actors. And you can now see the growth and the vision of Jack Ryan of how he moved from point A to point B. How did he he started to being the president, and all the activities, all the adventures, all the situations that put him there. It'll be great. So you're right. Once the actors and the writing strike, gets taken care of, and they've basically now, come to a decision and basically, work out the deals that needs to be done. Yeah, that will be a great addition to movie literature that hasn't been touched. Like you said, the name alone may not catch people, but when you start making association that this is a legacy name, and you start to make people start to dig back in the archives, like Harrison did that. Oh my goodness, Alex Baldwin did that. Ben Affleck did that. Chris Pine did that. You start to go in that, and again, you now put it Tom Clancy, Jack Ryan. If you have to, you go that route. Like you said, we have games. We have all these other IPs that people are even now more currently aware of. Tom Clancy. Make the connection right there. To me, that'll be a nice marriage of getting the new generation introduced to him. Because again, they know Tom Clancy, Rainbow, Splinter, they know Tom Clancy from that. When you now go back and say, Tom not only made you think of that, he also created these other IPs. And then we can go down that route. So I think, this is a great opportunity. Thanks for bringing that up, because you're right. Like, I knew of all of them, but unfortunately, they were so far in between that you kind of you remember whatever current, you may remember the previous one, or if lucky, the two prior, but then you'll forget the one any further back. So when you move
It's true,
up,
because if we look at the dates, I mean, look, first one, 1990, right? Okay, all right, okay. Not knocking it, it's just a saying, it's way back. Sorry, my voice is cutting out. So, so 1990. So here's my vision of this. I would like to see, and I know certain actors are getting to a certain age. Because of that, and because of all the actors that have played it, I think they should give them they have it in wrestling, in WWE, they have what we call legacy contracts, where they keep someone on contract and behind the scenes, they still get money and all that. I think they need to turn around and do a legacy deal. Go back and bring back some of the past actors, put them on a legacy retainer, and have them do, if they want to do a 3-picture arc, then do the balance of what's left. So first and foremost, you go with Harrison Ford, right? Harrison Ford has played the character twice. Let's give him one more movie. And in that movie, let Harrison Ford be, we might have to skip a step, but skip him being vice president, but put Harrison Ford as his first term as president.
Right.
Know how he became in a flashback, why he had, or mentioned it, why he had to become president, because I think it was the president got killed in a terrorist attack. He was a vice president. He got bumped up.
Yeah.
But let's go through that story because it's already written. It's not like it has to be created or whatever. It just needs to take the novel, adapt it as a screenplay. Give me one more movie with Harrison Ford as president Jack Ryan.
Yep.
And everything has to say Jack. It's got to say Tom Clancy, Jack Ryan. And then the name of the book. I know it's going to make the name long, but we have to kind of put it all together. Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, and then put the name of the book. You have to do that. So I want one more movie, Harrison Ford. I know I'm not going to be in order, but whoever's directing it or writing it, it's got to be pretty much, hopefully it would be the same group or team, like how they do the Star Wars series, how they did the Marvel movies. Everyone sit down in a room, so we know that if something happens in one movie, it's got to be represented in a future movie, and let's do it even though they're going to be shot out of sequence. So that's what I want to see. Do that with Harrison Ford. Thank you very much. That's 3 movies. That's Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, and then the one where he's president. Boom, give me that movie. Sweep on next. Let's go back now to, Sum of All Fears. Now, Ben Affleck only played the character once. Now, the way Ben Affleck looks, he's a little bit older. We can do the novels before. Right. So obviously after Sum of All Fears, but then you have that gap to fill in from Sum of All Fears to, let's say, Red October, where Red October would fall in.
All right.
Right? Because and pick out 2 good novels from there, and then let Ben Affleck come back and do those more near the end. Find me 2 other movies, bring back Alec Baldwin. Depending on what goes on with him, I'm just talking about him as an actor, not his situation that he's in right now. And let's bring Alec back for a movie or 2. For the novels that's supposed to come out chronological wise after Hunt for Red October. Make mention of what happened in Red October, as a flashback. When I say flashback, I mean, it doesn't have to show a flashback sequence, but just say, oh, yeah, I remember I did this and I helped this person. Right. So I think it'd be kind of cool. We don't need to find new actors. I think we just take the existing actors and let them play later on versions of the range they should be in. Because I think these actors are all great actors. Because that way, 100%. My plan is it lets Sean Connery wrap up his art. Harrison Ford wrap up his art on the Jack Ryan characters. Boom. All right. You only got to do one, man. Here's the book. Boom. We're doing it. We understand he's older. He's supposed to be older. He's president.
Right.
Go back. Ben Affleck, he's still pretty active. He's a little bit older, but he's a little bit active. Okay. Give me some of that. Same thing with Alec Baldwin. Do the same thing. 2 more. All right. Boom. Thanks, Alec. We're good. Right. Go back to Chris Pine. All right. Then Chris
give you more. Chris would be perfect because he's younger, so he can do any of the fillers in between. You know what I mean? And if there's any books that are prior in age bracket for Chris, then you can say, well, okay, we're gonna have another actor. We're gonna create have another actor fill in who's younger, so he can then in rotation take his three movie arc and basically any of the fillers to bring up to, to fill in the gaps, and just take care of whatever's left over. So I was
Exactly.
literally, when you were saying that, that's how my mind was thinking. Once you start with Harrison, go with Harrison. Let Harrison do the tail end of it. If
Yes.
worst case, because I don't know the novel arc and how long Jack Ryan is president. Is he president for one novel? Is he president for any multiple ones? I don't know. And anybody
Yeah,
can
that
please
I
just
don't know. I just know that he's president for 2 terms,
right. And so and this is the thing. So he's president for 2 terms. If there are any two
but they're not
novels,
consecutive terms. They're not consecutive terms. So
okay,
it's one term, then it's someone else, then he comes back and it's a term again. So I just know it's 2 terms, not consecutive, that he's president for. But then it's also he was vice president at one point. So you
okay.
show him being vice president and then why he became president. I mean, do it that way and then leave it at that and do like a little write up at the end. Oh, Jack Ryan went on to be president one more time, da 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 da, da with Harrison Ford. And I think that'd be good enough. And
Well,
it throws him in the action.
my mind. Here's my mind with thinking with that though.
Mhm.
If you know the last 2 novels, give those ones to Harrison.
Yeah.
So if he's already he's a president,
Mhm.
but we're gonna have 2 stories later on. Let's Harrison do that, and then keep this one open for Alex or for Ben. At least from there, that they'll end there.
Oh,
Do you understand?
gotcha. Yeah.
So Harrison will still, just in case there's any books afterwards, then it may be a little intricate to have Ben here, have Harrison, and then you go back to Ben or Alex kind of center. So if possible, have Harrison do the last one or the last 2 novels while he's in a president term, because of age and everything like that. That at least it looks visually, it makes sense, and then basically have Ben if he's the one prior, and then and he's president, and Alex in whatever case is. So my whole idea is that any of the fillers, you basically have, if there's a 2, 3, basically everybody else has done 1. So you have the 2 arc for Ben, you have 2 arc for Alex, you have 2 arc for Chris. And then if there's anything earlier that hasn't been, any novels that hasn't been used up or created at this time,
Mm-hmm.
creative was already created, but any movie adaptation that still hasn't been done, then we can have someone who is younger, let them do the earliest of that one, and then that person can do his 3 arc, and hopefully by then it may fill in the gaps. So then all you have to do is have a continuous smooth motion of great actors, representing Jack Ryan, and you can see the progression.
Yeah, man.
See, okay, I know I saw Harrison Ford when he was at this age, it was 1990 kind of scenario, and early 90s, like, okay, but now you see him in 2023 as, doing his second term. And whatever stories, if there's any stories after that, I don't know. But if anything, let him do the second term.
Right. Yes. Now, you know what you call it? Very simple. It's just like comic books, volumes. But when I say volumes, so for example, so Chris Pine would be known as Volume 1.
Okay, all right. Turn off the show,
Jack
ladies and gentlemen.
Krasinski.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out to the show. Yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Chris Pine is Volume 1. Jack Krasinski is Volume 2. That means Ben Affleck is Volume 3. Alec Baldwin is Volume 4. And Harrison Ford is Volume 5. So anytime you do the movie, you got to put volume whatever, which will help fans organize it when they get
organize it. So here's what I'm going to add to that, because I'm just saying, if there's any books before Chris,
yes,
we're going to have a volume for that person. So we'll call Chris Volume 2. You understand? We're leaving one open for someone. If we're going to go with your adaptation, which is great,
right. You see where I was going with it, though.
100%.
Okay.
110%. Okay. So we can go with that route, but you're going to have to leave, because if you take Chris as Volume 1, if you introduce another person, unless you're going to call that one the epilogue. If you want, you can go Volume 1 for that person, or just have Chris as Volume 1, and then you have that person who does prior epilogue,
prologue. Yeah, man.
And this is how it started, and that's it.
Done. Because the stories you need to tell from Jack at this point. We know what happens, and we catch it just like him, army plane crash. I mean, helicopter crash. But there's a whole story about his mom, his dad. I mean, his dad was a police officer. His mom was a nurse in Baltimore. He had a younger sister. Why did he join the army? He joined the army because he wanted to go to school, and he figured if he goes the army, he would be able to make more money for his schooling, so his parents would be able to use the money they have, and instead of having to pay for him and his sister, they could put more money to his sister. Like Jack has a moral compass engraved in stone. Right? Like this is
strong DNA. Strong DNA. So
DNA.
Here's one thing.
And the older brother, he just said, I'm going to school. I'm going to go to the army because he wanted to do that. But at the same time, it's going to be, hey, mom, dad, don't worry about me so much. Take the money. You only got so much on your salaries. Put it towards my sister. And we got this.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
But that's show you the character of the person. He has like that heroic.
So
he's on fire.
Listen, I'm now going, my head is now spinning on this idea as well. Now, I know you said it earlier. Tom Clancy has enough stories. That is correct. Now, the only scenario to kind of fit into the dynamic that we're trying to bring out, if there isn't any story that really digs into an epilogue, just as per the movies and how it's been laid out and everything like that. If there's none, this is one time you would have to say, okay, since this state is allowing new writers to continue the Tom Clancy storyline, have a writer create a book as an epilogue, giving you the source material to actually dig deep and dive into what brought him in, why did he do that, and whatever the case may be. Even if you have to go into not deep in the sense like what happened to the parents, like why, what choices did they make? You may not have to, you don't really get too deep into that, but in the sense like what were their choices, why they weren't able to acquire enough funds to do that, and the struggle that Jack went through and realizing like I'm taking my little sister, again flashbacks, or you have little epilogues like taking care of her. I'm always the big brother. Now I'm old enough. You guys take care of the little one. I'll come by every 2 Sundays for Sunday dinner. I'll let you know I'm still alive. We're good. I'll see y'all in a bit. Deuces. I'm out. And tell little sister, you got my room. Don't mess up my room. I'll be back. Smoke bomb. Gone. Does what he have to do. Take care of himself. Maybe you see the struggles that he learned on the moral compasses. Now he turns into, oh, good God almighty. Now he starts turning into the TV version of Incredible Hulk, trying to help out people. And he's like, and, along that line.
But we're going to get more of his military career because we only hear about it and we only see it. And then it's a helicopter crash and then that's done.
Right.
Okay.
We need more.
Man. Now, I know Tom Clancy always wrote these things together, right? Like he got the Ryanverse, he got the Tom Clancy universe. And what I'm thinking is at this point, hold on, is now you can kind of bring some people in, even if it's just an Easter egg. Okay, you bring certain people in, like bring in the character from Splinter Cell. He doesn't have to do much. He could be younger.
Don't make me turn over my laptop. Stop it.
You could, yeah. You could bring in the character from Splinter Cell. I'm trying to remember Sam. Why is my head so bad with names?
Because
you got like Ghost Cell? Recon. You got Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six. So you could say, hey, he could be in training and say, who's that over there? Oh, that group is known as, that's the Ghost Recon group. Oh, okay.
Right.
Or who's that over there? It's like, oh, these guys coming back. Fisher. Yeah, that's the Rainbow Six.
Sam
team.
Fisher. Yeah, no.
Fisher,
but the character you're looking at is Sam Fisher.
Right. He can walk by and just see on like a desk Sam Fisher on a folder. Because fans like to pick apart stuff like that. So if you put Easter eggs in there where Ryan walks by and sees like a folder on someone's desk and it says Sam Fisher, fans will lose it. I would lose it. I'm a huge Splinter Cell fan person. I played the games. So that is beauty right there. If it's like, hey, Ryan, what's going on? Hold on 1 second. I got to take this call. And he's, let's say, in some mission control because there's a mission going on. It's like, okay, the Rainbow Six team is doing what? Ah! Tell him to engage a target. Okay, Ryan, this is what's going on. Just say that. And you show some blips on the screen with familiar names.
Turning over tables. Turning over tables. People are running out like Fry from Futurama.
Futurama?
Take my money. Take my money. That's all that happens.
Shut up and take my money. Because now you open up a Tom Clancy world like no tomorrow. Because if Amazon, and I think they did a really great job with the Jack Ryan series, if they turn around now and did a Rainbow Six series, a Sam Fisher Splinter Cell series, that one is dear to my heart. Okay, that's I've been playing those games for a long time. Now we have some world building and so forth. So that's my thing. So hold on now, Rod. So let's get back. So I got you. We're on the same page. What version of Jack Ryan did you enjoy the most? That being it from what you remember, watched recently, out of all the actors that have played him, I'm not saying who's the best. I'm just saying which one.
No. I hear what you're saying. Mm-hmm. It would be Patriot Games. It would be Harrison. It would be Harrison because in that realm, it was again the first one. Hunt for Red October. He was unfortunately he's overshadowed by Sean Connery.
Yeah,
right?
Rest in peace, sir.
So you get to see. I think that's why I really do like the Harris. I'm more towards Harrison Ford on that end, because that was the one that I kind of grew up watching more than anything. And Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, those were it for me. So
okay, yeah, all right, I got you. I see. I love Harrison Ford as an actor, so I liked him when he played those roles. I wanted more from Alec Baldwin, so I think if the script was done a certain way, we would get more. Right. I mean, I think he's got it; he can do it. For myself, I have to go the Amazon series, but because they took their time. I mean, it's a series as opposed to a movie, so they took the time to really build what they had to do. And I mean, they had 3-4 seasons to build this all together.
Sure.
So, but I like at first coming from The Office, John Krasinski, and I'm like, and then I watched the first episode, and I'm like, oh, okay. This boy getting some trouble, and then it went on. So I have to say for myself, the Jack Ryan Amazon series, and I've seen them all. That one stands out for me for sure for Jack Ryan. I did like Chris Pine doing the Shadow Recruit,
right?
And I like the movie overall. I just think it got a little bit Jason Bourne-ish at one point, but then I don't blame the actor. That's more on the studios and what they were trying to do at the time, trying to compete with. But he was on the right track, and I would not recast him. I would have him come back and give more to the character. So but I really enjoy the dynamic and the chemistry that all the characters had in the Amazon series. I think that was it well done. So, but that's my thoughts right there. So people will wrap it up and let you know. So I said, so we got our epilogue kind of thing, and then volume 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
4, 5,
6. Yes. So as I said before, if we had to put these in chronological order, as I said, for myself personally, and you could agree with me, you can tell me, Barry, no, it should be another way around, and that's fine. Let me know. I mean, we can have open discussions about it because we talk to anyone that writes to us, so we're always there. So I'm still going with, it starts off Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, then Jack Ryan, the Amazon series, followed by, what did I say before? Sum of All Fears with Ben Affleck, then Hunt for Red October with Alec Baldwin, ending off with Harrison Ford, Patriot Games, and Clear and Present Danger. That's how I think it is, what it looks like chronologically order for me, and that's what I'm sticking with, and I still think bring it back, make it a legacy, build on that world, bring these actors all back. Don't recast them, bring back the actors, don't retell the stories. Pick from those 30 books which ones are really monumental that would show some good action and drama. And then, each time we put it out, put you would have to write on the poster like Tom Clancy, Jack Ryan, name of the book, volume, and put it as a volume 5, like I say, volume 6-3,
Yeah.
volume, V-3 or V.3, whatever. Fans
colon.
will, if you explain it, we get it. And then when someone goes and amasses their mega collection of Jack Ryan, they can say, oh, here's all my DVDs or Blu-rays of Jack Ryan, steel box edition, and you can put them all in order like they do James Bond movies.
Right.
Righto. What's your final thoughts, Rod, on Jack Ryan? Like I say, you don't know Jack.
Jack, that boy Jack. Now we know about Jack. Now we know Jack. The character is, like I said, he's monumental. You don't realize that he's a legacy character and that we've kind of like grown up with him in the sense of I was trying to think this earlier and we went into conversation, so I didn't think back to it. But I'm trying to think, was there any other movie/characters in that time that was doing that, having one character, an IP, and having other people just continue the storyline? Because it's either it is James, and now that we're getting reminded that it's Jack Ryan. Then there's nothing. Then we start getting into, that's when you start to realize I'll just say the Chronicles time would be like Batman. Yeah, we had a bunch of Batman. That's the early days when everybody started to do that type of thing. But reality, they were about the same.
Yeah, but Batman, the closest, who I think about that, and this is the Jason Bourne. We were mentioning Jason Bourne, right? So in all the time, Jason Bourne was played by Matt Damon, right?
Right.
But then there was a series that was done called Treadstone.
Yes.
That went for one season, and then it got canceled and left us on a cliffhanger and got me so upset. And Treadstone within the Jason Bourne universe was good. So you had Matt Damon playing Jason Bourne. Then you had the actor Jeremy, who plays Hawkeye.
Reynolds, Reynolds.
Right? So he played Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, and he played Hawkeye. So he did a Jason Bourne movie, and he was a lead. And then they went into Treadstone, and then they canceled it. Cliffhanger season 1, because it's now getting to all the other people who were sleeper agents and they didn't know.
Yeah, they went quiet on that one. Unfortunately. And I'm just here I'm crossing my arms thinking, there's nothing else like that. And then I'm realizing one of the most longest running characters in TV history. We're sidestepping hard, but I'm like, as I was asking, has there been a character who has been replayed by other people, but there's a connection, this universe to it? As soon as you said Treadstone, it then make me think of I can see it, but Doctor Who. I know we're going halfway, but that's when I realized, I'm like, there's no other one, and then I realized, wait a minute, there's Doctor Who.
Get the TARDIS.
Yeah.
See, it's a good thing that Dave's not here with us right now, because if Dave Sokolowski was here, he would be smacking me off the head going, Doctor Who, Barry.
Listen, we're going to have a conversation. We got to bring him up for that one because, Doctor Who is one of mine. So, we're going to have fun on that one, too.
Okay.
I
know he's got the TARDIS on his writing vest. He's got the Doctor Who TARDIS on there. Okay.
All right.
Done.
We're having conversation. Don't make me up. I'll bring all the Houdins out, man. Bring all the Houdins out. Let's go.
And you know what? If we do this episode, I'll tell you what's going to happen this episode. For once, I'll be quiet. Because Doctor Who way better than I do. For once, I'll be quiet. I like this. Okay.
I'll just leave it for Dave and I. I'll find another. Listen, anyway, we'll get into that, ladies and gentlemen. But the fact is, I'm realizing, we're getting sidetracked, but I'm realizing that, yes, there are other IPs that done the same thing. And around that same time, if you take out James Bond and take off Doctor Who, around that same time, it was Jack Ryan, and then it was Batman. Because then you start to see all the other IPs started doing the same, like Spider-Man started to kick in. They started to do that trend was starting. But at least I'll say, if you take off Doctor Who's been doing it from time, James Bond from time. Other than that, then I can say, hey, Jack Ryan, you're right up there. You're on the podium. You're on the podium, my friend. You're on the podium. Let's go. Let's go it. So yeah, and that's it. So yeah, all that to say, hey, I like Jack Ryan.
He knows Jack. He knows
we
Jack.
know Jack.
We know Jack. And on that note,
Jackie boy.
it's awesome. And on that note, thank you everyone for tuning in once again on the Iconics podcast. As always, I'm your host, Barry 3D, along with my cousin, my co-host, the one and only
Rod C. Rod C. Let's go.
Let's go. And this whole world was a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming. We're out.
You have a shot.